Y'all ever heard of the Oldrey family bestiary? So if you don't know what a bestiary is, basically it's an old modern book filled with old creatures, entities, even animals we never even heard of and seen before. Many families have them, but the Oldrey family have the most interesting one. So the Oldrey family actually dates back to the Pallid Knights days all the way back. They are a family of monster hunters. So the book has all the creatures I'll be talking about in my lore series. Vampires, werewolves, rougarous, mermaids, elves, fairies, which all of it's in there. There's even a few dark sorcerers in there. So y'all let me know if y'all want a part two, if y'all want to hear more about this book. It's very interesting. Very. This is Forbidden Lore with Cube, and I'm going to call y'all back later. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Part two? Of course. Y'all know I got y'all. Before we jump back into the Oldrey family, let me give a shout out real quick. Shout out to Alex Clavos. Please go follow him. Yeah, he has all the information up. I'll tag him also below so you can find his page quickly. I found all the information on YouTube, but I also found his page. He commented on my last post, so please go follow him. And he has a lot of information up about his family. He's actually the descendant that posted all this information, and he also published a book, so check him out for sure. Now back to his family. Let's dive into these soldiers, knights, and these warriors that have been guarding the unknown for hundreds of years. So they actually come from a group called the Sons of Man Order. And this is an 18th century secret society built within the Catholic Church, y'all. They had exorcists, hunters, and of course the Pallid Knights. They were trained in combat to fight any supernatural threat. On top of, they have to preserve the knowledge as well. So it's multiple jobs. And it's also said that some of them had Superman, super-like abilities. More of like a Captain America vibe, like a super soldier. They had extra strength. They were super fast. They had a little extra abilities. Some of them, not all of them, but they definitely wasn't one to play with. So think of that show like Supernatural. The two brothers, their dad or their descendants from an order of monster hunters as well. So think of that order like that. They had libraries, weapons, exorcism tools. I can't remember what exactly was it called on Supernatural. Something on the Sons of Mans or something like that. But yeah, if you watch the show, it's very similar to that. And they might have taken it right out of this story. So who knows? So now let's talk St. George's Keep, where they reside in. Not to mention, St. George's Keep was named after the legendary St. George that allegedly slayed a dragon. This fortress doubled as a prison as well as a research facility and a lab, basically. It is said this place has the most monstrous creatures and entities that we have known or seen in the supernatural world. Harold Oldrey Jr. is one of Alex's descendants, ancestors type shit. Not too far from the line though, like just a few back. And he is a renowned expert in vampirism, vampire lore, everything vampire. Like, was a master hunter. He actually expanded the various different types of vampires and vampirisms and actually kept log and note and photograph evidence of that. And eventually establishing a whole libraries based on the vampires. His collaboration with unique individuals was probably the most valuable to his research and basically his career. And I'm talking about Alexandria, the vampiress that hunt her own kind and did very well at it. Alexandria and Harold were some form of like a duo. They would go out and hunt, and they were kind of like badass basically at it, from my understanding. So of course she stayed there. Of course she's one of the creatures in the bestiary. But I thought it was very interesting that they actually collaborated with many creatures. Just she's not the only one. Let me know if y'all want a part 2. Any questions, comments, and concerns about, this family, the Oldrey family, or any of the creatures in this book. Yeah, let's do a part 3. Let me know. Let me know in the comments if y'all want a part 3. And before I get any further, TikTok is only for entertainment purposes only. Okay. This is Forbidden Lore with Cube Oxley, and I'm gonna call y'all back later. Part 3? I guess it's becoming a little series. So what if you inherited a house from your grandmother with a bunch of untold secrets, spirits, and then some in it? If you're new here, welcome back to Forbidden Lore with Cube. We are talking about the Oldrey family. And this starts with their latest descendant, Alex. So y'all, Alex inherited this house from his estranged grandmother that he hasn't seen or spoken to for years and years and years on a time. So as he goes through the house, like any other person that would inherit something, from a family member, he's filming, he's looking through everything. But a lot of weird shit is going on. A chair flew across the screen from the kitchen table. A book randomly fell and an envelope appeared with his name on it. Mind you, he hasn't been there for probably even 10 years or even longer. A little frog doll pops up. He even finds a pair of keys like on the coffee table that wasn't there before. Not to mention, y'all, this is all filmed. He's doing it while he's filming, while he's going through the house. Not for us, more for his, keepsake. So all of this is happening on film. All the footage is up. So go to his page and go check it out. So then he keeps looking, and he comes up to finding this journal. As you see his hand, finding this journal. And that is his great-grandfather, Leopold Oldrey's journal, diary, but that was his. And there's actually a photo of him in the whatever book this is. So y'all go look at that video if y'all want. But yeah, so back to the video. So this when all the mess starts, when he starts looking and gathering his information, and he goes through this book and he finds a lot of strange things in it. And before we get any further, TikTok is only for entertainment purposes only. This is all hypothetically speaking. It's all allegedly. So don't come looking for me. Don't bother me. And if you guys ever know I ever go missing and I stop posting, y'all know what happened. Okay, so back to the video. So in this book, there was connections with, the government, the Vatican, and the Order of Sons of Man. And if you watch my last videos, this is an order basically pledged to hunt monsters. They research, they have jails, they do tests, they probably do inner outer breeding. I don't know, y'all, but it may be going on to this day, so I don't want to say too much about them. What I found interesting, y'all, was that Alex's grandfather, the one that owned this journal, actually had connections in the film industry. He actually worked in the film industry. So a lot of that stuff we see in the movies, I see a lot of y'all in the comments telling me about other TV shows and movies or stuff I haven't watched yet, but I will catch up on them. But this stuff is coming actually from the horse's mouth sometimes, so pay attention. In the journal, Mr. Oldrey talks about Benjamin Christensen, which is a huge Hollywood producer for the silent, terrifying film Hacks and Witchcraft Throughout the Ages. Yep, y'all, this movie. And I didn't even want to look at the image too long without it when I looked it up. I'm like, all right, moving on. So Alex didn't only find books and the bestiary. He found also weapons, different artifacts, spiritual, type of weapons and gifts, if you know what I'm saying. I don't want to say too much, because you say too much in videos, you call in those spirits too. You feel me? Alex been radio silent for a while, up till 2 days ago. He just recently started back posting, so please go check out his video. Go share his content. That's the best way to keep him, me, everybody safe, and still keep the weirdness going. And y'all remember that vampire Alexandria I told you that worked with his family? Well, he's been in contact with her, so let me know if y'all want me to continue this in another part, because I can't make this video too long. All right, I'm going to call y'all back later. Bye. All right, y'all, this is part 4. And this video is on the vampire named Alexandria. And before we get any further, I just want to say TikTok, this is all for entertainment purposes only. This is hypothetically speaking. So no one come look for me. No one come bother me. Alright, y'all. Like, this is all allegedly. Alright? Back to the video. So as I told you on the prior parts, Alex's family, the Oldrey family, is a group of monster hunters. Well, not a group, a family of monster hunters. And as I say in all the other past videos, make sure y'all follow him, keep up with his content, like, subscribe, comment. He has a lot of information out there. They're all a lot of video evidence. And the best way for us to keep him safe and is to, make him a public figure. So make sure you follow him, like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, share his content, because we need him. We need him. So let me tell y'all how Alexandria all fits into this story. So I'm gonna tell y'all in my terms, in my way. Of course, y'all know I'm gonna speak the way I want to tell the story, but I'm gonna tell y'all just, closely as possible how Alex told the story. So Alexandria obviously didn't start off as a vampire. She was just a young girl in Europe when tragically a group of rabid vampires unalived her whole family. So Alexandria was actually an orphan at that point. So one of the hunters in the order took her in as his own. He taught her how to fight. He taught her every weapon to use in mankind, man known. He taught her every vampire story, lore, every information, and really created the ultimate warrior and hunter. And his final steps, y'all, to creating the ultimate super soldier for this order, because all of them are falling off. Like, they getting old, y'all. They getting old. Most of them been unalived by all the other monsters. Some of them lost the abilities they were able to use. We'll talk about that in another video. So it was this night. This was his mission to create a super soldier, basically, within Alexandria. The final step was he let the virus take her. I don't know. Can I say bitten on TikTok? I don't know. Long story long, she became a vampire. Then he abandoned her, y'all. Abandoned her. Gone. But he left her like a lot of think of like wanted posters, but with like vampires and all their information and how to find them and hunt them down. It's called Doses. Maybe if I might be saying it wrong, but yeah. Among that, in there, when she went back to that building, this building that kept her locked up. Yes, at St. George's Keep. That's where they had her locked up as soon as they turned her, which was ridiculous, diabolical, crazy, but okay. Not to mention, y'all, Alexandria did a lot of like reform work for the other villages and other people that were like, families were going through it from rabid vampires. So it was crazy that she put in a lot of work, for these people, and they did her dirty. So anyway, y'all, I'm getting sidetracked. So she also found a rose that bleeds human essence and, all that, so she wouldn't have to feed off us. Of course, there's a special way you have to take care of the rose. Like, it doesn't just bleed. But this way to keep her fed and keep her off us and keep her human hunger down. And she continued her work, hunting down all them other vampires. As for her mentor that set her up, I don't know if she ever ran into him again or what she did, if she ever did. But I know she helped the Oldrey family a lot, and she joined the organization, still hunting down, creatures, and still doing good work in Europe and all around, the world. Because they had side missions in Africa, like all over the world. I'm trying to tell y'all. She actually helped Alex's ancestor, Harold Oldrey, with a lot of on his mission. They were kind of like a dynamic duo from my understanding, and other generations of his family as well. And when his family stepped away, she continued doing the work. And it's said that she's doing the work to this day. She actually keeps in contact with Alex. Very interesting. Not to mention, I think this photo of her is from maybe the 1800s. Hmm. This is Forbidden Lore with Cube Oxley. And call me back later. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, because this is a crazy story. Like, I don't know how and why. What, y'all? More on Alexandra? I got y'all. So if you're new here, just a quick recap on Alexandra, and let's move forward. So y'all remember how like Alaric was training Elena, and he's a hunter, training her how to be, fight like a hunter. Then she became a vampire, and then she was whooping actually vampires' ass with her new abilities and mixed with her old abilities from being a hunter. So that's what basically happened to Alexandria. She trained, she was an orphan, she trained with a hunter, and then he turned his back on her. Unlike Alaric, this man purposely let her get bitten and be changed to become some type of super soldier in the supernatural world. So after Shorty left St. George's Keep, she went to go look for her mentor, but she never found him. Cause y'all know she did escape, or maybe somebody let her out. Who knows? But she done got up out of there, and she was pissed. But she did notice he left her, some doctrines, basically some paperwork of other creatures that she can still hunt and that she can still do her job. And also a rose that can bleed so she can be able to drink and eat. So Alex went right back to work. And this isn't really shocking to me, guys, because, even in those TV shows and movies we watch, like, throughout history, there's always, like, a vampire that hunts vampires. Like Angel. My favorite, of course, Blade, W. Blade. And, of course, the most ruthless Michael Michelson. So, this has been going on. So, I'm trying to think, are these characters inspired by her? Okay, so back to Alexandria. So she continues to do her work. She got in leagues with the Sons of Men. She was, an agent for the most part. She teams up with this man, which is Harold Oldrey, which is Alex Clavos' ancestor. They become like a dynamic duo. And they start getting a lot of work done before he actually, leaves. But they got a lot of work done. When they went their separate ways, Alexandra always said she would watch out for his family, and she did, and she still does to this day. So throughout the centuries, she changes her name, not really too far. Alex, Alexandra, Ali, Lexa, Lex. She goes by all different aliases. But one thing I do know, she still does this kind of work, and she actually very high up in ranks. She actually has like her underlings and her little workers reach out to Alex Clavos just to make sure, she communicates with him and make sure everything is good. But she's pretty up there. So she works all over the world. I know she started in Europe, but she works all over the world. So if you see a beautiful, alluring, European model-esque woman with dark brown hair, great fighting abilities, which she probably wouldn't do it nowadays anyways, because she done trained up a bunch of other, entities and creatures and people to do this kind of work. Who knows? She might be the boss of Sons of Men nowadays. I don't know. But word in the street, Europe is pissed that we are having these conversations and we bring this to light. And Alexandria is well known to and privy to what's going on. I don't know, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, and I'll be back with more, I guess. I don't know. This is getting crazy, y'all. This is getting crazy.